New York Attorney General Letitia James just went nuclear on Donald Trump as she's extremely frustrated with the former president's string of wins against her. I mean, she's just mad. Some even call it hating. And this is because Donald Trump's team was able to post a bond within the allotted deadline. But instead of posting almost $500 million, an appeals court decided that Donald Trump only needed to post $175 million. And I say only with asterisks because it's still a crap ton of lot of money. Something that Letitia James just can't live with because she was just so excited to see some of Donald Trump's properties. And this has her asking plenty of questions because she wants the bond to be disregarded. Oh yeah, so James is now questioning the insurance company that decided to help Donald Trump. Critics of the Attorney General are now wondering if anyone else who helps the former president would also be under scrutiny, a sign that many analysts say is detrimental to the state of New York. In fact, this is because their Attorney General is now targeting any entity that decides to lend Trump a hand with this fraud case.
Let's go back for a second. So this morning, Knight Specialty Insurance Company filed a corrected version of the bond that attached, among other things, its financial statements and showed what its assets were as of the end of last year. That's December 31st, 2023. It has over $537 million in assets. And what the Attorney General's office is saying, the cash it has on hand is less than the bond. And they need to know because specifically this company is not admitted under New York's Department of Financial Service. It's not a New York insurer. And because it doesn't have qualifications in New York State, they are entitled to ask for what's called justification of the surety. That means, among other things, Chris, that they want to know how is this collateralized? What are the specific identifiable assets that Donald Trump posted to ensure that if they went on appeal, they will get back this $175 million and up to the value of the judgment that Judge Engoron had ordered, which at this point stands over $454 million if that judgment's upheld.
Critics argue that AG Attorney General Letitia James and Judge Engoron, they're setting a precedent that whoever helps Donald Trump will be considered an enemy as well. At least that's what the optics of this entire case is telling us, because now they're questioning this insurance company for even considering to assist the former president. Can you believe this, guys? But of course, we can say that James is going through the proper procedure. However, many critics have already questioned how she's handled herself with the civil fraud case thus far. Many also question her motives and say that she's determined to get Donald Trump in trouble no matter what. And speaking of questions here, many were raised in Georgia as it came out last year that the 2020 elections results in Fulton County may have counted in error. You don't say. According to a report from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, the results from Fulton County was plagued by numerous mistakes. Their state election board admitted that these errors were due to voters being counted by hand. We're just going to blame it on human error now, I guess. Now, this has resulted in ballots being tallied twice, others being miscalculated. But here's the best part. The officials there say that it's okay that they made these mistakes because they weren't enough to sway the election results. The findings from last year showed that 3,000 absentee votes were counted for Biden that shouldn't have been counted. Now, it's been said that these votes were not included in the state's certified count, but it's just kind of weird to hear that the same mistake was made 3,000 times, right? Now, if I remember correctly, Biden beat Trump in Georgia by about 12,000 votes, which brings us to Mark Wingate, a Fulton County Elections Board member. So Wingate recently testified that he voted against the certification of the 2020 presidential elections. The reason that he gave is that he had a legitimate concern with regards to the integrity of the election. He claimed that Fulton County failed to verify the signature of over 147,000 mail-in ballots. Now, let that number sink in for a second. So last year, an audit shows that 3,000 votes were almost given to Biden in error. But here in 2024, we're now being told that almost 150,000 mail-in ballots didn't even have their signatures verified. Wingate testified that he and other members of the board, they requested the chain of custody documentation for mail-in ballots. They also asked for the surveillance footage of the ballot drop boxes. Now, unfortunately, neither could be provided. And here's the biggest takeaway here where you really kind of start to question what happened over there. So Wingate said that they suddenly had more voters on their active voter rolls than the population of Fulton County. How the heck do you even let that happen? It makes you wonder if Trump had a point in questioning the results of the elections. And since we're already on the topic, things are heating up already for the 2024 presidential elections. In fact, especially with the funding that both Biden and Donald Trump are now receiving. President Biden has jabbed at Trump for supposedly being broke due to his many legal fees and fines. However, things are starting to turn around for the former president as they brought in $65.6 million in March alone. The changes to the RNC seem to have had a very positive effect on Trump's campaign. Michael Watley and Lara Trump, they were placed as chairman and co-chair respectively for the RNC last March 8th. This in turn has now created a fundraising juggernaut among Republicans. With both the Trump campaign and the RNC working together, the expectation is now very clear that they're unified in ensuring the former president's victory come November this year. Now, at the end of March, Trump's campaign boasted $93.1 million in cash, with plenty more expected in the coming months. But let's now move on over to another topic that involves money, right? U.S. House Speaker Mike Johnson has been a stonewall when it comes to funding for the war in Europe, as he said that any money that will be sent to the Ukraine should at least include something for the protection of our borders. However, the message seems to have been changed. So his perspective has changed enough for some to question whether Johnson is now being blackmailed. Republican Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene expressed concern because she says that the Speaker has suddenly departed from their principles when it comes to Ukraine and other issues. In a recent guesting on Tucker Carlson's show Tucker Carlson Uncensored, the representative basically asked what was going on with Johnson and why she thinks he suddenly changed his tune with Ukraine. Now, as you guys know, the Biden administration has been hounding the House to approve this $95 billion package that would effectively send $60 million to Ukraine. Greene says that the Speaker may have been blackmailed. Now, looking back, Johnson has repeatedly clapped back at the Biden administration and said, if we're helping anyone, we should probably help our borders first. But just recently, he floated the idea to extend a loan to the Ukraine. Others have claimed that this kind of language from the Speaker could cost him his job. Republican Representative Don Bacon admitted that it is possible that they remove Johnson from his Speaker position. Bacon said that they have a few members that are not team players, so it's likely that the Speaker is replaced soon.
Let me ask you about the Speaker of the House, because you know that some Republicans oppose him putting a Ukraine aid bill on the floor. Do you think he could lose his speakership over this, Congressman?
It's possible. I'm not going to deny it. We have one or two people that are not team. They're not team players. They'd rather enjoy the limelight, the social media. And the fact is, with a 1-seat majority, and we'll end up with a 3 or 4-seat majority after some special elections, but that's not a 435 people. It's a very narrow majority. And one or two people can make us a minority. And I'm of the view, you work with the team. I don't have to get 100%. 80% is the Ronald Reagan rule. But we have some people that if they don't get 100%, they want to bring the House down, and it makes us dysfunctional. And so that's a possibility.
Although Democrats may swoop in to rescue Johnson, given that he's signaling that he's willing to work with them, at least when it comes to giving Ukraine billions of dollars of taxpayer money. But what do you guys think? Is Johnson being blackmailed at this point, or is this really what he wants? As always, I'm gonna stay up to date on everything and keep you guys informed. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Thank you for hitting the like button. Thank you for sharing this video, and I'll see you on the next one.